Okay, so here I'm going to give a tutorial on how to use the custom game editor. Um, so let's start. Let's open the editor, and so it starts off with a list of the included game types, and you can duplicate. You can't edit them, but you can duplicate and edit them. So let's start, or you can create a blank one. So we're going to start with, it's easier to duplicate an existing one, I think. It'll make more sense, but you could also start with a new one. So let's start with a new one. I'm going to create new, and you can see that it's totally blank, and we have a very not fun puzzle game with single blocks that don't do anything. So we could fill up the board, and it doesn't do anything, and that's not very much fun. And we could even hold one of them and switch it with another blank one. All right, so here are just the normal game settings, and all of the rules have a tooltip, which is somewhat self-explanatory. You might have to read through it and tweak around with some stuff. So you can resize the preview, and when you do that, this kind of resizes and then it snaps. I should probably make these. You can move these if you can't read it. I should probably make them so that they're correctly sized. I'll do that soon. So that would make sense. All right. So some of these are really long. So now we can read all of them. So what we're going to do, we're going to name it, and let's call it new game. And then you can select what determines the score, and whether it's a falling block sort of game or a stack sort of game. And I'm going to add more games to that in the future, but here are the two different major game types right now. So in the block designer, we want to start off, so each of these individual squares is a block, and then in a game like Tetrid, you have a piece that's made up of multiple blocks. So that's the difference between a piece and a block. A piece is made up of blocks. But in this case, you can also just use a block as a piece with only one single block. So this is sort of like a piece, but it's a single block. It is actually a piece. It's a single block piece. But anyway, we don't have any. That's just the default. So we create a new block type, and we could give it a sprite. Here's the built-in sprites. I'll add more. And we want to say that it's used in normal pieces. This probably should be checked by default. I'll probably change that. If you want it to be used as in the normal piece type, you would click this. And so let's test it. I will set the first color to purple and click preview, and nothing happened. Okay, so maybe it needs a sprite. I think it probably does. Yeah, it does. Okay, so now we have a light purple block, and let's change it to a circle. Now we have a purple circle. Now if I add another color, let's say cyan, now you'll see it randomly selects the colors. So this one's cyan, the next one's purple, and if we put 3, it'll randomly select between those. So let's try green. Preview. Now all 3 of those are green, and here's all 3 colors. So, and those are just randomly selected. So then now we have single blocks, and let's make a piece. Now this is optional. You don't necessarily have to make a piece, but we're going to make a piece. And this color would override the individual block colors if you want all the colors of a piece to be the same. So let's open the block designer or the rotation designer, and so this is what our piece looks like. It's just a single block to start off, and you could load presets, right? Let's make a piece that is 2 blocks that rotates, and you can see here's the preview. It's what it looks like. And so let's say we want to customize this, and we want like a crazy piece with lots and lots of things that for some reason changes shape when you rotate it. Why not, right? And something totally weird. Okay. With some things that are just off. Whatever. So this is our terrible piece. That's what it's going to look like. That's just using random colors. We can speed it up, slow it down, I don't know. Okay, so here it is. And it's made up of our block that has 3 color types. And I can rotate it. Look at that. So there's our piece. And let's go ahead and make another kind of block, a second block type. And let's make this one have squares. And the colors will be red and orange. And now you can see the piece is going to be made out of both types of blocks. So this one, the reason that it's using all this type is because I have it selected. Now it'll be all that type. But normally, in normal gameplay, it would be selecting the piece from both block types. And the reason it's not doing that is, I believe, because I'm on the block tab. Let's try that. No, it's still not working. Okay, well, I don't really remember why. I should figure out why. Let's see what happens if I run out of these. No, it just keeps doing single block pieces. Oh, and I died. And it crashed. Well, it didn't actually crash. That is just a debug. It actually just threw an exception. So let's see if we can go back into it. I think we can. Yeah, we can. Okay. But it's freaking out because... Okay, here we go. And we're back. Okay, so... how can I do that? Honestly, I don't know. Okay, let's try another piece type and preview. Okay, and this is our single block piece. For some reason, I've got to figure out why it's queuing up all the next pieces. Oh, that's why. It's because I didn't save it. If I save it, aha, so this is a bug that I have to fix. I believe now that if I load it, it may actually use the pieces that I want. Oh, that's why. Okay, I know why. The reason why it's using this single piece is because I haven't set either of these to be the normal piece type, and that probably should be by default, so I'm going to go ahead and set that. So if I set that as the normal piece type, now it will use that to generate the things. That's why that was done, because I did not, and I didn't set it. See, it's only using the first block type with the purple and the red. That's because I did not set this as used with normal pieces. Now it will make pieces that are mixed with the 2 different blocks. See, it's got the circle blocks and the square blocks, and it's making our fancy ugly piece here. So there you go. I don't know what kind of game we've just made, but it's something. It could be something. Pretty neat. And then you could tweak around with all this stuff. You can kind of see some of the different things here. And I don't know, it's all kind of self-explanatory past that. You just have to read the different options, so we'll see what happens if people make stuff. I'd really like to see what people are going to make, and I'll keep adding more features so people can make more stuff. Alright, there we go. Of course, there's no rules yet, so it's not ever going to clear. Let's find that. Game settings, and let's say we want entire lines. So entire line. Now it's kind of a tetrad type game, and it's a really easy one. Oh, it's apparently not, because it's stuck. Oh, there's no gravity in whole line. In fact, I don't even know if this is possible. Oh, there we go. There's a line. Oh, and we crashed. I don't know why, but I'll figure out why. Oh, it's actually not a crash. It's just an error, just a game error. So it'll come back. Here we go. So that wouldn't happen. That only happens in debug mode. That won't happen while other people are playing it. Look at this terrible, confusing puzzle game. But whatever, we made it really quickly, so let's save it. I've got 2 things to fix, and that should be pretty good. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the game custom game editor so that people will know what to do to some extent. So I'll open it, and we can select one of these and make a duplicate, the built-in types, or we can create a new one, or we can edit one that we've already made. So I'm going to create a new one, and we've got this empty, not very fun puzzle game here that actually is not playable. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it's just very boring because there's no rules, and you could just endlessly fill up the game board. So we give it a name, new game 2, and we would want to start by making a block type, because this empty square is not very exciting. So let's start by making a circle with purple, and use it as a normal, use it in normal pieces. So if I click this, now it'll make, you can see if I click preview, it'll make new piece types out of this block, which is a circle and it's purple. And if I add another color, aqua, you could see that now it's alternating. It's a little hard to see there. Should have picked different colors. It's alternating between the different colors. Let's change this to green, preview, and here we go. You can see it's just randomly choosing from those colors. So if I create a new block, I'm going to call this one circle, and then make a new block, and I'm going to call this square, and let's make this one a square, use it in normal pieces, and make it yellow or red. Okay, so we've got these kind of cool colors. So now if I preview, when you click preview, it uses the selected block that you have. But if you notice, it's not, oh, I see. Oh, no, it is. Never mind. It is randomly selecting between the 2 different blocks. But what if we want more complex pieces than a single block? That's where we make pieces. So we make a piece, and once you make any piece type, that is your main piece type. Right now, it's just making a single block piece by default. So if I click new piece, and then I just, this is important, I have to click use as normal piece, and then I edit the piece, or the rotations and the blocks. By default, you can see it's just a single block and it doesn't do anything, but we can make it 2 blocks and then create a new frame and a new frame and a new frame, and now we have a nice rotation of 2 blocks. So let's see what that looks like. And let's click preview, and you can see now we have a piece. We can rotate it, and it's made out of our 2 different block types, the circle and the square, that are randomly chosen. So here we go. Now we've got something that looks pretty interesting, right? But what if we want this piece to be made out of all squares? So we would want to override the block type that it's made with. So we would want it to be all squares. Okay. And now you can see it's only using the squares. And then we would make another piece, make this one the same thing, which there's a preset for it, so I'm just going to go ahead and select that, a little easier. And this one, I'm going to make it use the circle. Let's preview, and you can see now we have 2 different piece types. One is all circles, one is all squares. And hopefully it'll give us another circle. Oh, the reason it only gave us the 1 circles is because it's selected, and I haven't told it to use it as a normal piece. So now if I select normal piece, preview, now it'll randomly select both. And here we go. You can see it's doing both the circles and squares piece types. Pretty cool. So there's still a lot of bugs, and you'll run into a bunch of problems. So save frequently. Just click save, and that saves it to an XML file in your app data folder or home folder. Let's rename these. Let's make this one, this is our square piece and our circle piece. Okay, save. Alright, so make normal type by default. Okay, alright, sorry, I was writing it out. Alright, so this is our tutorial here. You'll probably make things crash a lot by playing with these rules. I need to sort out some bugs, but we'll see. Hopefully people will make cool stuff. And just for fun, real quick, I'm going to make a 3rd piece as a special type, and it is, let's see, 1 every 5 pieces. And we're going to make it, I don't know, some big square, a flashing square. Okay, it's supposed to be flashing. Here we go. So now it's flashing special, and it's it only comes every 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3. See? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's somewhere in 5 pieces. 1 out of 5 pieces. It seems like that's actually wrong. I need to check that. But here you go. Alright. Pretty cool.